Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you all. We're back with block number 2 out of 50. So we are going to be doing 50 blocks in 50 weeks. This is our second week in a row. The block we are doing this week is the log cabin. Do they have a split screen already? I don't have a single block to show you because I put them all together. I can't take all the credit though, I'll have to admit. I made this block right here. And with a little bit of help from Landon and a little bit of help from Matt, I was able to get this entire thing put together. So like I said, I did this one. Matt stayed up super late last night helping me get these all put together while I finished up the pattern after days of watching children by himself while we gallivanted in Houston. And so I'm very grateful to my assistants this week. How's everybody doing? Have you all started your block from last week yet? Now guys, don't forget to share this video, please. We're going to be giving away a block kit, so I'll be sending you the fabric to make a block just like you see on the wall behind me, so you can make block number 2 in the sampler series of 50 blocks in 50 weeks. These fabrics are called Painter's Palette from the Paintbrush Studios fabric line. They are solids, and let me tell you, they are beautiful. I love working with them. They just have a nice feel. They're a pleasure to work with. I don't get a lot of fraying, which for me is just a thing. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like it when my fabrics fray. So these so far have just been a pleasure to use. Where's everybody watching from today? Give us a little comment there, and make sure when you share this video that you come back and tell us that you've shared, so that will qualify you to win the prize. Okay? And then that way it's easier for us to find you, because some people's Facebook profiles are private, so we're unable to see if you share. But if you want to qualify, come back and give us a comment, okay? Any questions about last week's blocks? Do you have it already? You can follow the link above this video to the website where you can sign up, put your name and email in there, and we will email the patterns to you. If you've not yet done that, or if you're new to the video series, then please visit us at sparrowquiltco.com. Look for the 50 blocks in 50 weeks banner. Looks like this. Follow that link. That will take you to where you need to sign up. Now this week I have prepared my strips in advance, so I've got a 2-inch strip of 7 different fabrics, and you can see that I varied through some darker oranges, and then I varied through, kind of gradiated through some lighter oranges, and I kept my center a nice light yellow. That color is called honeycomb. So the colors that I used for my block: honeycomb in the center. This one here is paprika. This one out here is scarlet. And out here we finish off with maroon. Moving away from center in the other direction, I've got apricot. This orange is called daredevil. And this outer orange is called burnt orange fabric. I was going for a fall theme. What do you think? Nailed it, right? So I'm just going to get right to the cutting. I'm going to start with my center square and my honeycomb fabric. That's the only fabric that you're going to need a little bit of a wider piece. Everything else you can get away with a 2-inch strip for a single block. If you make it to the end of the video, we will be offering a coupon code that will allow you to download the runner pattern for free. Okay, so if you get to the end of the video, we'll share that coupon code with you, and you can visit the website and download the free pattern for the entire little runner. Any questions or anything there so far, Elle? So far, so good, hey? Nice, Jessica. Working on last week's block. That's awesome to get caught up. I was working on this on the plane on the ride home from Houston on Monday. But of course, then I couldn't get to the stitching until yesterday. So I have got my ruler set at 3.5 inches. My strip is already 3.5 inches wide. I'm just going to cut a chunk off here. This way? Okay. I am cutting a chunk that is 3.5 inches square. I'm actually taking 2 chunks off here, but that's okay. So this one's going to be my center square. These I can set aside for now. And now I've got my maroon fabric, and because I've already cut my 2-inch strip ahead of time, now I'm just doing subcuts across the width of that strip. I always like to put my piece of, on the selvage, sometimes one is not as long as the other. So I always put the shorter one on top so I can see exactly where it is in case it is sneaking into my area that I want to cut for the quilt. I got to make sure that I'm removing enough. So in the maroons, I'm going to cut one log that is 11 inches and then a second one that is 9.5. Let's cut off that selvage first. And I think what I'll do is open up this strip 11 inches. Hey, so since my ruler's 12 inches long, I'm going to turn it this way. Leave 1 inch off the edge there. Maybe I'll bring this up because this is going to catch the bottom edge of my fabric and keep me nice and square along that bottom edge. And then I'll just cut my 11 inches here. Oh, I didn't quite get that in place correctly. Remember, check twice, cut once. Okay, so there's my 2 by 11 inch log for my log cabin. And now I need a 2 by 9. Make sure, 2 by 11, 9.5 is what I want now. So I'm still able to sounds back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Landon was trying to fix something there for you so you can see and hear a little bit better. So I have cut my 2 maroon logs that are going to be the 2 outer pieces of my log cabin block. Now, last week I'm learning a new software so that I can do this a little bit more easily for you guys. And so I've been bringing in the exports from the quilt design software and putting them into the pattern for you. And sometimes they look a little bit blurry. So next week, we might have to send it to you in 2 parts instead of just being a single part. And then that way it's going to give us even better quality. This week is better than last week, but next week we're hoping to get them really, really good. Okay. So as you work through here, what you're going to find is that I have images that show you the cutting, okay, of all the different fabrics that are in the block. But I've also given you text instructions, okay? So if you're finding those images are just a touch too blurry, please refer to the text instructions so that you can see what's happening there. They're better than last week, though, I promise. Okay, so I've just cut out my maroon logs. Now I need to work on the next color, which is scarlet. And out of scarlet, I needed 1 2-inch strip, so I've already got that. I'm just going to cut off those salvages and see what we need next here. We've done our honeycomb. You know I like to cut things off as I go. Maroon is done. So scarlet, I'm cutting an 8 and a 6.5. If I circle it, maybe I'll be able to reference it a little more quickly. I'm going to be a little bit wasteful here on this one, though. I'm going to do this kind of the lazy way. So cut off my salvages. Now I'm going to cut 2 8s, and then I'm going to trim one of them down to a 6.5. And then that way I don't have to separate or move my strips around. So that's... Oh, my big fat head's getting in the way. So here is my 8, and I'm just going to give that a press here in a second because it's a little bit wrinkly. And this guy I'm going to cut now at 6.5. So I had to laugh this morning. Matt posted about stitching this project up for me and how he was teaching me that accuracy isn't as important as I think, and how his blocks finished up anywhere from 12 and a half, which was my block, I might add, to his that finished at just over 11 inches. So his seam allowances might have been a little more generous than mine, but look how it all came together. Can you believe that all those blocks are different sizes? It actually worked out really, really well. Maybe it will be revealed in the quilting, in the final product, once it's all quilted down, but I'm pretty impressed, I gotta say. So we're starting two different teams. There's Team Get It Done, and then there's Team Precision and can't move forward till it's perfect. Kind of interesting to see just how well it does turn out, though. Rose, you do not need to register every single week. If you signed up last week, then you should have gotten this week's block already. So check your email there, okay? Whew. Are you guys getting warm? Let's just get rid of this now. So thanks everybody for joining us this morning. This is block number 2 in our 50 Blocks in 50 Weeks series. This is a log cabin that we are doing today. And I'm just showing you how to cut it out to get ready for piecing together. If you didn't sign up last week, then you need to follow the link above this video where you can find an entry form that will allow you to sign up as well. Now, if you're also just joining us, please share this video. We're giving away a prize of a block quilt kit at the end of this video. I'll be sending a single block, the fabrics to make one single block, to somebody in the mail. So make sure you share and then come back and tell us that you've shared, okay? So now I'm ready to cut my third fabric. I better check off this one. Now I'm working on Paprika, and I'm going to cut 2 logs that are, one is 5 inches, one is 3.5 inches. Oh, thank you. It is a nice size. I can't remember the exact name of it. We've got it under travel iron on the website. It might not be exactly as this one, but it is very similar. SparrowQuiltCo.com, there you can find the travel iron. But it is just a nice weight little iron. It's perfect. What did I cut there? 5. Now one of these I need to cut down to 3.5. Get rid of this first. Put my 5 over. That is 5, right? And now I need a 3.5. Trying to keep my head back, guys. I'm sorry if I keep blocking your view. Things are wiggly today. So I'd like to invite any of you who've not yet done so to join our Sparrow Quilt Co Daily group on Facebook there. It is a fun little community type group where you can share photos of what you're working on, ask questions, make quilty friends. And I just want to remind you that it doesn't have to necessarily be our patterns that you share. You can share whatever you're currently working on or finish that you're really proud of. Feel free to join that group and make some new friends online. It's kind of fun. Now I'm going to move along to the apricot fabric. I'm now working on the other side of the block. I've cut out all of these guys. Now I'm going to start working in the other direction, and I'm cutting the apricot colored fabric. This was the first fabric I picked for this block. It reminds me of creamsicles. So in apricot, I want to cut a 6.5 and a 5. So I'm just going to cut the bigger one because I'm cutting 2 stacks, and then I can cut the bottom log into the smaller size that I need. So the 6.5 is my top, and then the bottom one is going to be cut at 5. Did any of you get a chance to see any of our videos from Houston this past weekend? Landon and I jumped on a plane Friday and we went down to the big Houston Quilt Market, which is a show for shop owners to come and look at new tools and great things in the quilting industry. And while we were there, we took a little walk through the quilt show. We found a quilt by a woman named Sherry Reynolds. She's been a Facebook friend for quite some time. And her quilt was so beautiful. I had to stop and I oohed and awed over it, cried a little over the story. And Sherry won Best of Show last night. And yay! Congratulations, Sherry. We're so excited for you here. Your quilt was more than worthy, in my humble opinion. I thought it was stunning. So if you've not yet seen it, please go check out the video on our Facebook page. I cry like a baby through the whole reading of the story. It's a wonderful tribute to Sherry's mother. Take a few minutes and go read it later. Go watch it later. It's really very sweet, and it's a beautiful quilt. Well worth the peek. Okay, now I'm moving along to my Daredevil colored fabric. Daredevil sounds fun. Sounds fun until it's one of your little sons trying to do something dangerous, right? So like I said earlier, I've already cut all my strips at 2 inches wide. The only different fabric was the center one there, the honeycomb color, but everything else is 2 inches wide, and I just have to cut them in various widths. And that's all described to you in the pattern, which you can download at sparrowquiltco.com or click the link above this video. So with Daredevil, we got to cut a 9.5 and an 8. While we were in Houston this weekend, we had some time to visit in the booth with John and Ritzko, the innovators of these guideline rulers that we like to use here in the videos. And John took the opportunity to show us just how sturdy these rulers are and reminded me again that they are made of polycarbonate, because I can never seem to remember. So what he did is he threw them off the balcony at the convention center there. So he's, you know, way 30 feet up in the air and tossed them over. They survived. They do not break. So that one's 9.5, right? And I need to trim the second one down to 8. I'm keeping myself organized here. Can you see as I go? Through the cutting instructions, I also tell you to label them, because you may not remember what color each one is or what size. So label them, you know, A's and B's, and you'll see the instructions there in the cutting instructions, but you can just put a little dot on there with the number on it or something and keep track of what's what. This one I'm going to trim down to 8. And then I've got one fabric left to cut here. This outer color is called Burnt Orange, and it is vibrant. Ooh-wee. How am I doing with my head? Am I blocking everybody's view? Okay, good. Trying to remember not to lean too far forward and block your view while I am cutting out these pieces here. Now, if you would prefer a short and sweet version of how to make this block, very soon we are going to be posting a video for Quilt Block Studio where I just go through step by step on how to create this block, and it is a lot less fluff and it is just straight and to the point. It's only a couple minutes long, hey? Really, really short. So if you prefer fast and dirty, as we like to say around here, check us out on YouTube there for the Quilt Block Studio. It'll be up later today, okay? Burnt orange fabric. I need a 12.5 and an 11. So my ruler is only a 12. I'm going to have to rely on my cutting mat a little bit for that extra 1/2 an inch. But that's okay, because this cutting mat is actually accurate. You can rely on the numbers on these purple-yellow cutting mats. Oops. Which is nice to know. You can rely on your cutting mat. I rely on mine a lot. Get me through my quilts. So here I've got 12.5 inch. And next I need an 11, so let's just trim this last little log down. And that will be it for our cutting. 11. So I find with log cabins, as I go, sometimes the fit of my pieces gets less and less accurate the more I attach to it. So I just want to remind you, before you begin piecing this, really check that 1/4 inch seam allowance, okay? Get your ideal seam gauges out and measure the needle position to the edge of your foot. Use those ideal seam guides to attach to the bed of your sewing machine and make sure that you are keeping yourself on track with your 1/4 inch seam allowance. I don't know why I'm preaching, because like I told you earlier, Matt helped me with the piecing of this block. In the end, some of the blocks were 12.5, some of the blocks were just over 11. So we kind of trimmed things up and just put it all together, and you really can't even tell, can you? No, I'm pretty impressed myself, but from my peace of mind, I just have to remind you that the more precise you are in your cutting and sewing, the better results you're going to get. All right, so on that last page of the pattern there, I have already checked off all my cutting. Now I'm moving on to the piecing instructions. I've given you step-by-step instructions there on how to put it together. Sometimes people don't need that. They can just go by the little diagram. Is it split all the time? Oh, okay. Can they see that there? Okay, so sometimes you can just go by the diagram. I've given you ways to label the different logs that you've cut. So if you just want to go by the diagram or the color diagram, that will work too. I try to include different options for people who are, say, visual learners versus step-by-step learners. I know sometimes in different scenarios, I need help in different ways. So try to include as much as I possibly can for you in this pattern to make it nice and easy. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to us. Like I said, join that Sparrow Quilt Co daily group so that you can have a kind of direct set of contact to us. And also there's other people there who've made the blocks too, and they can help you with any questions that you've got. Just a reminder to all of you to please share this video. I'm going to be giving away a block. I'm going to be sending you this. Not pre-cut. I'll send you all a bunch of 2-inch strips and you can do the cutting yourself. But that's going to be our prize today. So make sure you share and then come back and tell us that you've shared, okay? I'm just going to grab my trusty little sewing machine down here. My beautiful little Eversewn 30. We got a chance to play with the new Eversewns this past weekend. And they'll be on their way to us soon. At least I hope so. We heard they were starting to ship. They got the Quilters edition and they got a new embroidery machine coming out too. So we're pretty excited about all of that. I'm going to drop down my table. I'm not cutting anymore, so I want to be able to sit comfortably. How low does she go? All right. Well, let's get started on putting together our block. I'm going to bring over my little handy-dandy diagrams just to remind myself of how this needs to go together. I'm starting with my center block, and I'm starting with my darks. I'm going to always attach the first new round on the top, and the second piece is always going to go on the left. So first I will attach this little guy up here. I'm going to press all my seams away from center, and then I'm going to come back and add on the left log. The log to the left. Who? What? No, I am in my little YouTube office. Hi guys, I lost you. I'm rambling away and then they finally told me. Oh, only 10 seconds. All right. Well, we're back now, my darlings. Okay. So I have attached, how high up do I have over here, Al? Lower. Like this better. Okay. All right. So like I said earlier, the first piece you're going to attach every time you're starting a new round around the square, your first piece is always going to go on the top of the block, okay? Next, I'm going to attach the log on the left. And I like to put my solid piece on the bottom, and anything that has a seam I like to have on top so that I can control the direction of that seam. And that way the bulk in the back of my blocks is reduced because I'm keeping things going in the directions that they give the least amount of bulk. All right, so now I have got my handy dandy fabric folding pen, we're going to call this. It is the Easy Press pen, and it's filled with Easy Press solution. It's fold. And what happens is it's kind of got this, I don't know, it's almost like styrofoam or something, this tip, and it's kind of spring loaded. So when I push it down, it sucks up all the liquid inside. And then I don't have to press down for quite some time, actually. That amount of fluid will just kind of stay in the tip and help me with what I'm working on. I just smooth it across the fabric like that. And when I open it up, it kind of eliminates the need for pressing. And when I do press it, it's so flat and so crisp that it really makes you precise and accurate. And you guys know how much I like that. Although I have to admit, a little bit of inaccuracy isn't the end of the world either. You can see from the results of my blocks behind us. So now I have done my first set of dark fabrics, the lightest of my darks. Now I'm going to move into the lightest of my lights. With a log cabin, you can create some really cool effects because you're doing, if you choose to do it this way, darks on one side and lights on the other, so you can create really cool looks in your quilts depending on how you lay it out. So now I'm going to go back to my apricot colored fabric, and I'm going to attach this third piece along the bottom edge of my block. So let's go ahead and do that now. Don't forget to share this video so that you can qualify to win the prize of a single block. I'm going to send you the fabrics to make your block this week in all these oranges, just like mine. And once you've shared, please come back and tell us that you've shared, and that makes you a little bit easier to find. And make sure you like the video too. So the biggest reason I've been using this fabric folding pen is because it saves me time. And I can just sit at my machine and do the pressing later. But when I open it up, it just lays so flat. If I did that, I'll show you on the next round. If I did that without the liquid on there, it kind of curves. It doesn't lay flat. Not like this anyways. All right, so this is the orientation I'm trying to maintain. I'm trying to keep my smallest piece on top at all times so that I keep attaching the logs in the proper order. So the first one was on top, the second was on the left, the third was along the bottom, and this next one is going to go on the right-hand side of the block. Let's stitch that on there now. And just remember, if you've bought those ideal seam guides and gauges, this is the good time to get them out because you really want your blocks to stay nice and accurate as you go. Use that seam gauge to measure your seam allowance, your needle position, and place your seam guide right along your foot there. It's going to help keep you on track. Uh-oh. Trim it. All right, so like I said I was going to do, if I try to just open that up and kind of finger press it, it'll lay there, but do you see how it still has some lift? Now if I do it with this easy press pen, and I just smooth it along there, and you don't need much. You don't need much at all, and don't worry, it doesn't discolor your fabrics. It doesn't cause any ill effects. I met the people who innovated this product on the weekend as well. They're lovely. I'm hoping to have them come to the shop and teach some classes here for us. So like I said, we always want to keep that smallest piece pointing up. We're now ready for our second round, the square. I'm going to move to my second dark, and it's going to go on the top edge there. Okay, so let's put that one on the bottom, and we will sew with our block on top. Have you had a chance to sign up for these free blocks yet? We're going to do 50 blocks in 50 weeks. In order to sign up for this, you can find the link above this video, or you could visit us at sparrowquiltco.com. You're going to look for the 50 blocks in 50 weeks little banner there, and that will take you to a page. You can put your name and email in there, and each week we will send you the blocks. Also later today, we are going to have the video uploaded on YouTube where we do the really quick version of this block. We call it Quilt Block Studio, and it's just a couple of moments long. It's really short, to the point, and you know, I don't show you step by step, but I'll give you a quick overview of it. So that top piece is now attached. We're ready to take the next log and put it on the left-hand side. We're just going to continue going around this block in the same order until it is completed. We're going to finish up with a 12.5-inch block, and then at the end I'm going to miniaturize it. I'm not going to miniaturize it, but I'm going to half size it.
You half size it, doesn't it end up over the size?
We'll see. I'm reducing my measurements by half, and then we'll see how it goes. No, it should finish at 6.5, just based on the numbers I have.
Yeah, but when you put 6.5 over 12.5, 6.5, 6.5, 4 of it.
You're so smart. So Landon's just explained to me that I'm actually going to be quartering it, because when I reduce it by half, now it will only take up a quarter of a size of the previous block. So look at the big brain on L over there.
Oh, Paula has a good idea about remembering where your next one is.
Yes, Paula, what is it?
Put the next strip where there is 2 open ends.
The next strip where there is 2 open ends. Ooh, Paula. Smart. All right, so Paula has shared with us that the next strip should always go where there's 2 open ends. So I've just attached this guy, and now I've got 2 open ends pointing to where the next row should go. Paula, that's an excellent tip. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, with all of us.
Cheryl wants to know, how do I watch this live on YouTube?
Cheryl, you said? Cheryl, we're still working on live on YouTube. It is difficult. Facebook doesn't like it when you stream to 2 sources at one time, so it's a little bit difficult to make that happen. So we're just going to play by Facebook's rules for now until we can figure out a way around it. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so we're going to follow Paula's smart advice. We're going to move on to our second light fabric. We're going to attach it where there's 2 open ends coming towards us. And we're going to just put that on there and stitch it to that. This would be the bottom edge. Don't forget to measure that 1/4 inch seam, guys. Make sure that you are lined up correctly. Turns out these blocks are very forgiving, but if you're like me and your eye starts to twitch, just use that seam gauge and the ideal seam guide to help keep you on track. Okay, so this goes like this. And each time I put it back to the mat, I try to place it in the proper position so that I can stay kind of on top of what I'm doing.
So what would like you to say that tip?
Ooh, the tip is this. The next log is always going to attach where there's 2 open ends sticking out. So you can see I've just attached this one. And now I've got this open end and this open end, so that's where that log goes. Pretty smart, isn't it? Of course, this only applies to a log cabin block, but I thought that was pretty smart. I've been keeping track of it by going around. So I did the bottom, next is left, next will be top, then left, and I just am going around counterclockwise. But Paula's tip is really useful if you kind of lose track. Where's the 2 open ends coming out? Only on this side. So it's very clear where I need to attach that to. So we'll stitch our way up this side of the block here real quick. Now make sure you check out the Sparrow Quilt Co. Daily group on Facebook. There's a lot of quilters in there having some fun. Everybody shares funny little memes and quilty stuff, and you share pictures of what they're working on. And I honestly don't mind if you're sharing something else that's not one of our patterns, that's fine. We just want to see that you're inspired and that you're working on things you love. It's a great place for asking questions if you're not sure how something works. All right, there we go. We're going to zip the Easy Press pen right up the side here. Just smoothing that fluid along the stitching line there and open that right up. So I'm now into my last round of this log cabin. And I call them rounds, but they're actually squares. But we're going around. The group is called Sparrow Quilt Co. Daily, because our original plan was to post there every single day. And we try really hard to post every single day, but it doesn't always work out. So my next log is going to go along the top edge there. I'm looking for Paula's advice of 2 open ends, one open here, the second is open there. So I'm going to attach my log to that side of the block. And then we'll just stitch this down. Now please remember to share the video, guys. You have to come back and tell us that you've shared though, okay? That's the only way we'll know for sure to include you when we do our draw for a free block fabric set. The fabric to make one of these blocks is what I'm trying to say there. Oh, I never have personally added any crochet to my quilting. I know a lot of ladies who've done like a promise quilt, which is just a simple square. It's actually a log cabin. So just this center, it would be the center square with one round. And then they stitch all those together and they will do a crocheted binding edge. And the promise is that you're supposed to do it all by hand. And usually what people end up promising is that they'll never do that again. But I personally have never. I think it's beautiful though. So because this is the newest round that I'm starting here, this is going to be my top edge. And that is just my fabric folding pen. It is called the Easy Press pen. I fill it with Easy Press solution, and it just makes pressing easier is really what it does. It helps me tame my fabric without having to go over to the iron every single step. I'll press this at the end and it will be beautifully flat and crisp. Okay, keeping our smallest sides to the top at all times. Are going to bring over the next log. It's going to go on the left-hand side, or I can also look for the 2 open ends. So smart. I don't know where you learned that, Paula, but I really am grateful you shared it. Here we go. Line up those corners and we'll get this last few logs finished up. We began this series last Wednesday, and we will continue to do this every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. here on our Facebook page. If you have not yet signed up, please visit the link above this video or visit the website at sparrowquiltco.com. You can sign up for the blocks. If you sign up now, you'll get last week's and this week's. And if you stick with me till the end of the video, we're going to share a coupon code so that you can download the runner pattern at no charge. We're going to throw that in for you today for sticking with us through the show. So a couple of bonuses at the end today. Do you guys like my fall colors? Maddie looked at it, he said, wow, that could make someone who loves orange hate orange. It's pretty orange. And I was surprised at the name choice of this fabric, that it was scarlet. I always envisioned scarlet to be like a bright, bright red, racy red. Not in this line of fabrics. All right, so this is my second last log. I'm going to attach it on the bottom edge. There's my 2 open ends. Go. We have lots of prior tutorial videos and quilt block videos on YouTube. So if you're interested in seeing some of our other patterns and stuff, you can check it out at YouTube. Our channel is Sparrow Quilt Co. And each week we'll also be doing a quick and to the point version of this block. And we call that Quilt Block Studio. So you can find those on YouTube as well. Oh, yay. Okay. Landon has that video up for you now on YouTube. So later, when you go to actually make this block and you just want a reminder about something, you can watch that video instead of this whole long one. And these live videos that we do become videos on the website. They become videos on YouTube. We save these and you can watch them later. So if there's something you wanted to refresh or remind yourself about, they will still be there. This is my Easy Press pen. It helps me make pressing easier, helps tame those fabrics. It's part of the Acorn Precision Piecing System. You can check that out on the website if you like. This is my last log. I'm going to attach it on the right-hand side of my quilt. And just a reminder that we're looking for the 2 open ends. That's the side we're going to attach that onto. Then we'll give this a press and we'll see what size it finished up at. We're aiming for 12.5 inches square. I'm going to guess it's going to be a little bit small because I tend to end up with a slightly smaller block. But let's hope. Let's hope I got it right. Are you a precise piecer or are you okay with letting things go? If you've watched me for any amount of time, you know that I really prefer things to be nice and precise. However, I'm not one to kill myself trying. Sometimes it's better just to get it done, right? Not stress too much over the silly stuff. All right, here's our last log. We're just going to do our easy press swipe and then open up that fabric, and then I'll give it a good press. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is miniaturize this block. We'll make it smaller by halving all of the dimensions of our logs. So I kind of planned ahead and wrote down all the dimensions that I need to consider when half sizing this block. I'm just pressing all those seams, kind of making my way around the whole thing. I didn't press anything as I went. I'm sure you noticed, but I did use that easy press pen. And now I'm just going to check it and see how close I got to my planned size. Let's have a peek here and see just how close we got. Ooh. Oh my goodness, I'm bang on. Yes. It's a little victory for me. Look at that, 12 and a half. I'm off by a hair up here, but it must be proper. Well, if you didn't hear my story earlier, this block here is one that I pieced yesterday afternoon, and then we got home last night just beat. We had a birthday party for one of our little guys last night, and there was still work to be done. So he helped me finish off these 3 remaining blocks. Then he attached my borders this morning, literally saved my butt. I'm not even kidding. I would not be prepared for today if it were not for Matt. But the kind of joke between us is that one of these blocks is just over 11 inches and my finished block was just under 12 and a half. So there's some pretty good variance there in the sizes. But when you look at this, can you even tell? No, right? So it's driving me a little bit crazy, and that's why I might be a little bit more preachy today than normal, because secretly I'm a little bit ticked that it still worked out. It's all good. I'm very, very grateful for the assistance, my Maddie boy. All right, so that is our finished 12 and a half inch block. You want to stick with me and we'll miniaturize it, and at the end of this video we'll give you a free coupon code so that you can download the entire runner. How does that sound? You guys want to stick with me for that? Let's do it. I'm going to do the same colors this week because there was a lot of them, and I didn't want to have to cut a whole another 7 fabrics just to miniaturize. So we're going to continue using the same colors we did in the first place, and I'm going to get my little notes handy because there's 7 fabrics and there's just no way that I'll remember everything. So let's bring over my notes. Well, he's my Maddie boy. All right. So my little honeycomb colored square is still going to be my center. We're going to trim this down to 1.75 square. So on my guidelines ruler, I'm going to slide this little slider over to the side. And while I was in Houston this weekend, John Bradie, the fellow who makes these rulers, reminded me that I can latch my little handle right into my ruler, so I never have to worry about the suction cup sucking or anything like that. It is literally locked into place. And John, I got to admit, I needed a little bit of practice there, but I'll get better. He just clicks it in and clicks it out, but I got to practice off camera a little bit so I look as smooth as that. So I'm going to reduce this in size to 1.75. You can see that my little slider here is set at 1.75. So I'll cut one little strip there, and then I'll turn it, and I'll turn that into a square. There we go. That's going to be my new center for this next block. Now, don't forget, guys, that we do this every single Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. here on the Facebook page. This is block 2 of 50. So we have a lot of blocks planned coming up for you. And we're going to continue using these Painter's Palette solids by Paintbrush Studio. I'm loving them. They are beautiful fabrics. Sorry? My roundabout. It's over here. I certainly could. Lannon's just reminding me to use my rotating cutting mat. Sorry about that. I hope it wasn't too loud. Might make things a little bit easier. Anything that makes the job easier is a good thing, right? So I'm going to scoot this big guy out of here. And we'll start building our new one. You probably can't even see way over there, though.
Yeah, you can see it in the fold.
That little guy? Okay.
The little guy, no.
So next is paprika. So we're going to start by cutting this. I was going to cut the width down to 1, but I think what I'll do first, I'll cut my larger rectangle down, which is 2.5. So I like to use the slider because my fabric kind of butts right up against it. It creates this little ledge on the underside and it bumps up against the fabric, so then it can't slide to the right. And then it's got this non-slip grip on the underside that prevents me from slipping to the left, and it just makes me stay more accurate. I don't get any movement in my ruler, which is a really good thing, I have to tell you. I've got my fabric folded in half. I'm cutting through 2 layers, and I'm going to cut the larger measurement first, and then I can trim down to where I need. Sheila, I did just raise my table. I love this table because I can raise it to cutting height when I'm cutting, and I can lower it down to sewing height when I'm sewing. I can also tilt it. I can make one side higher than the other. So it's really, really versatile. It's cool. Just, what are they called? The workstations. You can check it out under workstation on the website there. There's 3 different sizes. Yes, it's a Martelli table. Okay, paprika. So now I need to cut these down to 1 inch. Let's slide this on over. I really especially like these guidelines rulers when I'm working with small pieces. I find that the smaller your fabric is under your ruler, the more likely it is that it'll shift around. So with that little slider in place, it just keeps everything exactly where I need it to be. And that is a really good thing. We are cutting strips that are 1 inch wide. So ponder that for a second. By the time we stitch this into the quilt, it's going to become a 1/2 inch wide strip. Okay. So that little log is complete. It's going to go, it's the 1.25. It's going to go here. And this little guy needs to be 1.75 by 1. So I'm going to come at it this way. It is going to be so tiny. Let's see. Trim off that itty bitty piece there, and this one's going to go on top. So this is going to be one little square. Well, it's going to be a 6-inch square, which is not terribly small, but there's going to be a lot of piecing in that 1-inch square. Get those out of the way. Paprika we're done with. Next I need scarlet. This one here. So my bigger piece here is a 4. So I'm going to cut a 4-inch chunk out of this. I'll come at it this way. So I've lengthened this to 2 inches because my strip is currently 2. I'm going to trim it down here in a second, but for now that works good. Get this out of here. From there, I now need to bring it down to 1. And I really like how fast and easy this slider clicks into place. And it clicks into place. So it's not you know, is it on the line? Is it not? It clicks into the line. So I know for sure that it is accurate. Forgot I had a rotating mat there for a second. Get this out of there. All right, so here's my 1x4. Yes, I will. I will do that. So I've already finished piecing the original block, and now I am miniaturizing. I like to do this each week to show you how you can take a simple block and just change it a little bit. I like to use these guideline rulers. They help me resize things easily. So the original block that is available in today's pattern is this one right here. It's the log cabin block. It is a 12.5-inch square block, and I went on to make 4 of them with some assistance from my daughter and my husband, and then Matt added the borders around the outer edge. So if you are interested in the pattern to make the entire runner, just stay tuned with us until the end of the show. We'll give you a coupon code so that you can download that pattern for free. And how are we doing for time? We're doing well. All right, so let's set that block aside for a moment. If you've not yet joined, please visit us at sparrowquiltco.com. Put in your name and email address. We'll send you the last week's block and this week's block, and then you'll continue to receive them each week. You can also click the link above this video. The last dark color I need is called maroon, and I like to cut my biggest piece first, and then I can trim down from there for the other pieces because I'm cutting 2 layers. So for maroons, I need a 5.5 and a 4.75. So we're going to cut our 5 first. And I can get this out of here. From here, I need to trim this down to a 1-inch width. Sorry guys, I hope my head's not been in the way much this video. Okay. Sure. Okay, so this piece here is my 1x5.5. So I'll set that one over there. And then this other piece I have to trim down to 4.75. So let's line it up under here. Trim away that extra little bit at the end there, and that's going to go along the top edge once we get to that part of the block. All right, now we're into our apricot fabric. I need little wee ones again. The bigger of my wee ones is 3.25. So we'll cut that length first. I'm hopeful. 3.25, right? Yes.
This one might be
too long?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have a look after. Yeah. That's the great thing about log cabins. We're just questioning whether this is going to work out because I just ahead of time jotted down the half measurements of all the full measurements, and we're just not sure this is going to work out the way it should. So this is why this part's not in the pattern. Don't try this at home, all that kind of good stuff. Now I'm going to reduce this width to 1 inch because I'm half sizing. I should have rotated that with my handy dandy rotating mat. This piece is going to measure 1 by 3.25. So that one is done. Goes here. And this one needs to measure 1 by 2.5. This is actually going to come up here. And this one I have to trim down to 2.5. If you guys aren't sure what I'm doing here, please feel free to ask any questions. I've already finished my original block. It's over here. It's 12.5 inches square. Now I'm attempting to miniaturize it. If you are interested in these free patterns, you can visit us at sparrowquiltco.com to get your free download, and then we will send you the patterns every single week. Feel free to please like this video and share it. I'm going to be giving away a fabric kit to make a block just like mine at the end of the show. And I'll also be giving away a coupon code for you to download the pattern just like you see behind me here. All right, my Daredevil orange here, we're going to do a 4.75. Its original piece must have been 9.5, so I've cut that in half to 4.75. Now, also, I've not mentioned Stash Busters at all today, but on Friday we do our Stash Busters videos where we do free patterns to help you work through your stash. And we'd like to do that on Friday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Also here on the Facebook page. You can see all our prior videos on our website at sparrowquiltco.com or on our YouTube channel, Sparrow Quilt Co. We just love doing videos around here. So on Friday, we're going to be finishing up the Finding Happy quilt, and we will be that one escaped me. I'm not sure where that went, but we're going to be definitely finishing up that Finding Happy quilt. All right. Reduce that to 1 inch in width. That should be my 1.475. This guidelines ruler, the 6 by 12, I'm not sure how much it is. We'd have to look it up because Okay. So this ruler is $32.99 Canadian. I'm not sure where you're watching from, but you can select your country on the website there, and it should do a conversion for you. You can search guidelines ruler on the website, and it should give you the whole line of products that you can get out of those. So that one was 4.75. Now I need a 4. Chop off this itty bitty little end here. Okay. All right. Linda Landon has asked that you please check your spam folder for the pattern because sometimes it goes to your spam folder. If you've never received emails from us before, sometimes your email provider will shuffle a stranger off into the spam or the bulk folder. So that's where you need to check. Junk folder, it can also be called. All right, we're into our last color. This is burnt orange. I'm going to cut a section that is 6.25 inches long. .25 is right there. Trim off this extra bit that I don't need, get it out of here. We're going to reduce the width to 1. Oh, you must be in Saskatchewan. So Donna was panicking because she thought we were late or not showing up. But the daylight savings time is messing with us. So that's my 1 by 6.25, and now I need to cut one that is 5.5. So yes, I've already finished today's full-size block. Now I'm just having some fun miniaturizing. Because who doesn't like mini blocks? Don't you all love mini blocks? All right, so there she is. Do we have time to sew this baby up? Okay. Might go over a few minutes, guys. I hope you don't mind sticking with me. We'll just start stitching this little guy together. Okay, I'm going to start with that first little round. I'm always starting at the top. I'm just going to scoot these out of the way for a minute. Okay, Linda Landon says, please email us at info@sparrowquiltco.com and we'll try and figure out what's going on. Is it pattern related? Okay, yeah, email us at info@sparrowquiltco.com. We'll try and get that pattern sorted out for you there, okay? So let's start miniaturizing this block, okay? If you want the full-size block, you can download it at sparrowquiltco.com, put in your name and email. We'll send it to you by email. And then we're going to be doing videos every single Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. here on the Facebook page. Now my table's still all high, but oh well. I'm going to keep it there. Oh, I put them in a safe spot so that I could find them later. And then I forgot they're in the safe spot. I'm going to actually press as I go with this miniaturized version because I think that will be helpful along with my easy press solution. And that's going to give me nice crisp folds. So I'm bringing it back to make sure I've arranged things correctly. I've got my first piece on top there. Now let's add on this little guy. Yeah, I've already got an edge hanging off there, so there might be an issue with my halving theory.
Stephanie wants to know if you're including miniature measurements.
No, I've not included the miniature measurements on this one, Stephanie, because I hadn't tested it. I'm testing it live. And it's not looking good so far, I gotta tell you. Oh, so Cheryl's asking about the Sparrow Quilt Co. Daily group. If you go on Facebook and just search, there's a search bar. Look for Sparrow Quilt Co. Daily, and it will show you the group. And we've got a couple of thousand members in there now. The group's growing every single week, it seems. And it's just a fun kind of little community where you can join and show off what you're working on. I love when you share our patterns. I hope that you'll share your patterns successes with us. But if you're working on something else, you're welcome to share that too. It's also a great place for asking questions and having a direct line of contact to us. Okay, so you can see after 2 rounds, I've got a little bit of extra fabric here. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off right now before we get any further. But I can see that this might indicate my theory was not correct. So that now measures 2.25. 2.25 there, let's see. So I had cut these at 2.5, but they're a 1/4 inch too big. So maybe I should trim this one down before I go attaching it to 2.25. I might be able to release that separately, the miniaturized size, but the other patterns are already completed, and this is the testing at the moment. So maybe I should make some notes for myself. So my first, yeah, this didn't quite fall into the easy parameters with the guidelines rulers. I started trying to think about it last night, how it would work, and it's been a long couple of days and my brain was not cooperating, so I thought I would just wing it today, but I'm learning as I go. So this cut here should have been 2.25, and I suspect we'll just be off by a 1/4 inch as we go, but I'll keep some notes and see if I can figure out how to share this with you.
Betty says that downsizing needs to take into consideration the seam allowance, so take off 1/2 inch before dividing it.
Thank you for that advice, Betty. I will consider that next time, because I did not this time, that's for sure. So I'm adding my next little apricot log along that bottom edge. And I do highly suggest making sure your 1/4 inch seam allowance is very accurate when you're going miniature. With the bigger blocks, we were able to get away with a little bit of fudgery, but I think with these smaller blocks, it's a bit more important to be good and accurate, as I am now learning. I do always try to be accurate, but so I will press this and then measure it to see what it's supposed to measure. I'm going to have to trim that one down as well. I can already tell. Landon saw it coming. She could tell that something was too big over there. Yeah, so now we're getting into like 1/2 inches. What's that? An additional 1/4. All right, so this guy, oh dear, now we're into 8s. I don't know why. I'm not sure where to trim this one at. So this one I'm going to trim down. It comes out to about 2.75, and I cut this one at 3.25. So I almost need to take off 1/2 inch. This isn't going as well as I wanted it to. That's okay. It's not the end of the world, is it, guys? No, we're learning as we go. So I am actually taking off 1/4 and an 1/8, 3/8 about. That tells me something's really gone wrong because these should still be in 1/2s and 1/4s. But you can see we can kind of trim as we go. It's not the end of the world, but I do suggest trimming before so that you don't end up with it slowly, gradually getting a little bit bigger than it should. Then you're going to get waviness to your outer edge. See what happens when you think you're smart? You get humbled. All right, let's smooth some easy press solution along there. We're going to open this up. Going to give it a press. Oh, it's a cute little thing. It's just a cutie little block. Yeah, I'm not sure, Marianne, about the center. My first measurements were good, and then after that, everything else has been off a wee bit. Well, my first 2 were good. But that's okay.
Sew each one on and trim off the inside.
Yeah, we probably could. All right, so here's my next piece. What I'm going to do this time is just sew it on square with the starting point and then trim off the extra. Or I can go this way with it. No, I like to sew with this on top, so that's better there. So we're just going to keep sewing and trimming as we go. These I should measure. Oh well, we'll figure it out later. I don't want to use up your guys' time to make my edits. Let's make sure we're doing this correctly, Bradie. Has to be on that top side where we've been attaching our shortest logs. I'm looking for the 2 open ends like Paula taught me earlier. I really should lower my table. All right, guys, take one more chance to share this video and make sure you come back and tell us that you've shared. I'm going to mail one of you a fabric kit to make a block just like mine, my full-size block, I mean. And if you've not yet gotten the pattern, you can visit us at sparrowquiltco.com, enter your name and email address, and we will send you that pattern. And you can tune in with us every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. We're going to be doing 50 blocks in 50 weeks. This is number 2. block number 2, and we will just make our way through a whole ton of blocks. And you guys are going to learn all kinds of stuff just like me. I'm learning as we go here. So now I'm just trimming these as I go. Makes it a little bit faster. We're going to attach the next strip down the left-hand side. But I'm trimming every log as I go so that things don't slowly get out of whack, get all wonky. Have any of you made last week's block yet? And if you have, I hope that you'll share it with us. We'd love to see. There's been a few people posting in the Sparrow Quilt Co Daily group that they've already made their blocks. So make sure you join us there in the Sparrow Quilt Co Daily group so you can share and see what other people are up to.
Marianne says, so just do 1-inch strips and trim off the extra.
That's right. Yeah, 1-inch strips and trim off the extra. That's working for me right now. And I am taking it off as I go. I'm also trying to make sure that I'm staying really square as I go. I'm using the lines on my ruler to make sure that I'm not cutting on any angle whatsoever. It's looking pretty cute so far though, hey? Next we're going to attach this Daredevil orange along the bottom edge there. Now we are also going to be having an auction tomorrow night. I think it's going to be at 7:30, so stay tuned for that. We'll send you out an email ahead of time so you can see a little peek of what's going to be up for auction. And when you hear the word auction, you think, oh, the prices are going to go up, but not in our auctions. It's a reverse auction. The prices go down. So if something doesn't sell within 10 minutes, the price drops 10%. And it will continue to do so every 10 minutes until those items sell. Scissors. There you are. So that'll be tomorrow night, Thursday evening, 7:30 p.m. Again, here on our Facebook page. And that's a lot of fun. Even just to watch, it's a lot of fun. Even if it's not in your budget, just tune in for fun. And then Friday morning, we'll have Stash Busters where we will wrap up the Finding Happy quilt. That's also a log cabin. Oh, this is a cutie little guy. Okay, I'm square across the top and down the side, so now I know it's safe to lop off this wee little bit of extra fabric here. Get that out of there and attach the other one on this side here. We are nearly at the final round of this little miniature block. This would make a great Stash Buster quilt, just log cabins. Yes, I am using a 1/4-inch seam allowance, and I really want to stress how important it is to stay accurate when you're doing these miniature blocks. What the auction is? So our auction is a reverse auction. What we do is we pull fabrics off the shelves, we bundle them up, and then I show them to you on the screen. And then you can buy them on the website. If the item doesn't sell in 10 minutes, then the price drops 10%. If it's still here 10 more minutes, then the price drops again, and it just continues to drop until it goes. And so it's a good way to get some stash building done if you're looking to build your stash. If you're looking for something really affordable, it's a good way to shop as well. And it's just a lot of fun to watch and participate in. All right, we're getting close here. Finished the second round of logs on my little log cabin here, and I am about to attach my last two dark colors, and then my last two light colors. Isn't that cute? It's looking so good. How big are we so far? I'm currently at 4 inches. So my log is going to go on the top edge there. Earlier, Paula taught us to look for the 2 open ends of logs right there. Do you see them coming off the block? Both of those ends are open logs, so I'm going to attach on that side right there. Because I did not plan this very well, my logs are a bit too large, and then I'm trimming them down afterwards. Make sure you start with a really square edge at the beginning and trim off the extra off the other end. This mouth of mine isn't working too good today. Okay. Also, Thursday night, I might hopefully have the opportunity to show you a few of the fun things that we brought home from Houston. So hopefully you're able to join us so you can see some of the stuff. If you're interested at all, go to our Facebook page and check out the videos that we posted and pictures from the Houston Quilt Show, where Landon and I went this past weekend. There's some great videos there, some fun pictures. We did a little video of a beautiful quilt that was in the quilt show. Turned out that quilt won Best of Show. So feel free to go check that out. It is worth the 5 to 8 minutes of the length of the video. It's a beautiful quilt. And a nice story behind the quilt as well. All right, my last dark log is going to go down this left side of my block. We're going to stitch that on there, and then we'll be in the home stretch. You want to pick a winner for us, Miss Elle? Today I am sewing on my Eversewn Sparrow 30. And I'll tell you, I'm quite excited about the Sparrow QE that's on its way. It is the newest machine from Eversewn. There's 2 new ones, actually. One's an embroidery machine, which you can operate from an app on your phone or your iPad, which I think is just the slickest thing ever. But that Quilter's Edition machine was very nice to work with. On the weekend, it comes with a knee lift, a straight stitch needle plate. There is add-on feet that you can get, and they're in this nice little case so you can stay organized. And it's not just a straight stitch machine. It's got 70 different stitches, so that I thought was pretty cool too. I thought it was only a straight stitcher. Square there, square there. Trimming this up as I go, and yes, it does result in a little bit more work, but that's okay. It's worth it because it's going to result in a better product. Geez, so much for my estimates, hey? Ooh-wee. Next time we'll plan this out a little better. What I should have done is thrown this half-size block into the software. Miniaturize it that way. Lesson learned, right? Just goes to show you, even those of us who teach and can be considered an expert, so to speak, still lots for us to learn too, right? Never stop learning. I think that's important in life. Let's do our pressing, and then we will be on to the very last log. So yes, this video was a bit long, 90 minutes or so, like our lives usually are. If you would like a shortened version of how to make this full-size block in the 12.5-inch size, you can visit us at YouTube, and our channel is Sparrow Quilt Co. And you can find a really quick little version of the block there, along with some others. And do you have the coupon code ready for our peeps that stuck around? I've also got a coupon code for you so that you can download the full table runner pattern. That will be a free pattern for you once you have the coupon code. Okay. The coupon code will be good until tomorrow at noon. Last little log that I'm going to stitch on here, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. I don't smell any lunch yet, but I am hungry. You guys saw that coming, didn't you? All right, by the time I got to the end, my pieces were about a full inch too long. And that is okay. It's all okay. It's just fabric. We're just having fun. We're playing around. Merci. Okay, I've got a winner and I've got a coupon code. Are you guys ready? You ready with your little pens there? Okay, so you're going to go to the website and you are going to search for Log Cabin Table Runner and you're going to use coupon code Best Live Viewers. Is it all in caps like that? Doesn't matter. Okay, it can be small or large. Small or capitalized. Best Live Viewers. So write that down. That's going to be your coupon code to get the free runner pattern. And then you can have a nice fall log cabin runner just like me. And no, you cannot borrow Maddie to stitch it up for you. My stitcher. All right, you want to see my cutie little block? There she is. Let's see what she measures. 5 inches. We finish up at a 5-inch quilt block, so that is even less than a quarter of our original size. Isn't it cute? Oh, pass me that one there, Elle. Show them that way. So there's my original guy that we worked on today. That is our log cabin block that you can download at the website. This is block 2 of 50. And here is my mini. So cute, hey? All right, our winner for today, I'm going to send you a fabric kit to make this block here in the 12.5-inch size. You'll get the fabrics just like I used here. My winner is Carol Montaigne. Congratulations, Carol. Everybody congratulate Carol. Yay! Carol, what I need from you is a private message to the Facebook inbox here where you're going to include your shipping address, your email address, and your phone number, please. Include that you are the block 2 winner, okay? And we'll get that in the mail to you as soon as possible. Thanks, everybody, for watching today. Don't forget to join me next Wednesday. We'll do this every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for another 47 weeks. It's a big commitment, hey? But we're going to have an awesome quilt. In the end, we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to give away fabric kits every single week, maybe other prizes too, so don't miss out on that opportunity. Some other reminders. Check out our other videos at sparrowquiltco.com. We've got plenty of other tutorials that you can watch and learn from. And we're also on YouTube under the name of Sparrow Quilt Co. We got another video coming on Friday morning. That's our Stash Busters series. We'll be finishing up the Finding Happy quilt. And we're also going to do a fabric auction tomorrow evening. And this is a reverse auction where we drop the prices as we go rather than raise them. So it works out really, really good for you shoppers. And you know, we sure appreciate you all being so wonderful and supporting our business. You know, we've got a small family business here, but a big family. And we're just so grateful for each and every one of you for your loyalty and for shopping with us.
That says that the runner pattern says sold out. That's now fixed.
The runner pattern said sold out. Landon has fixed that now. You should be able to get it now. All right, everybody. Goodbye for now, my quilty darlings. I will see you tomorrow evening at the fabric auction, okay? And don't forget, we're going to show you some fun Houston stuff.